right, welcome. Hope you enjoyed that skit. The skit was actually a parable of the Good Samaritan, and we'll get into that at the end of this little lecture um, from the book of Luke. Who was Luke? Luke was the one Gentile non-Jew author in the Gospels. He also wrote the Acts of the Apostles and the book of Luke, named after himself. Who was he writing it to? He was actually writing it to Theophilus, even though Theophilus was probably a real person, probably a friend of his. Theophilus also in Greek means friend of God. Obviously, it makes sense to write to Theophilus, friends of God, because many people, millions of people, have read the Gospels. Luke wrote these Gospels to share the prophecies of Jesus being fulfilled from Old Testament and New Testament, what he came to do here on earth for the marginalized people, and just to show his humanity and who he was while he was here on earth. Parable of the Good Samaritan. Parable of the Good Samaritan, you can actually find it in Luke chapter 10. Going to give a little bit of context. Going to start off with verse 25 and we're going to go through verse 37. One day, an expert in religious law stood up to Jesus by asking him the question, "Teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "Right," Jesus told him. "Do this, and you will live." The man wanted to justify his actions, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied with the story. A Jewish man was traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him up, and left him half dead beside the road. By chance, a priest came along, but when he saw the man lying there, he crossed the other side of the road and passed him by. A temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but he also passed by on the other side. Then a despised Samaritan came along, and when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. Going over to him, the Samaritan soothed his wounds with olive oil and wine and bandaged them. Then he put the man on his own donkey and took him to an inn, where he took care of him. The next day he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins, telling him, "Take care of this man. If his bill runs higher than this, I'll pay you the next time I'm here." Now, which of these three would you say was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by bandits? Jesus asked. The man replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Then Jesus said, "Yes, now go and do the same." Let's dig into the text. So, in the context of the parable prior to, Jesus and a religious leader are having a discussion, they're having a debate. And the religious leader says, verse 26, "What should I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus is redefining what a neighbor is. It's not necessarily just the person who lives next door to you. It's a person who shows compassion, who shows mercy to someone, who is there in time of need for other people. Who do we see in this parable? We see a priest, we see a Levite, we see a man who gets beaten, and you have a Samaritan man, some of the people that were despised the most during that era. The priests walk by, and he just leaves the man that was beaten, left for dead, on the side of the road and ignores him, doesn't touch him because touching him would make him unclean. And they were so strict in following the law at that time that he refused to be unclean. The Levite does the same thing, he just walks by. Then you have the Samaritan person. Some of those people were despised the most in that era, and he goes above and beyond to help this man on the side of the road. He puts him on his donkey, takes him to an inn, and tells the innkeeper, I'm going to pay this bill, take care of him, and if his bill runs any higher than what I have given you, I will return and pay the difference. He's showing his good faith. He's showing his good deeds. Then this is someone who you would least expect. And as we know, Jesus always used people that we least expect or least anticipated to do his work and to show who they were, just like Jesus did. Jesus came, he healed people with leprosy, he removed demons from people, he hung around with sinners, and he was criticized for that. So he uses this Samaritan as the example of the least likely person that one would think would help them and consider them as their neighbor, again, to show compassion and to show mercy for this person. This Samaritan man, again, the least likely person, gave up his personal time, gave up his own resources to help that man who needed help, that man who was left on the side of the road, who was unseen, who was touched, who was not recognized by people who walked by him. Just like in our video, we have a college campus, we have someone who seems to possibly be an outcast. There's people all around and he's being ignored. Everywhere he goes, you see this figure in the background, and it's a resemblance of the people that are out there that just walk by and ignore him. But also, in the end, you see it's the least likely person that comes and rescues him in the end. Just like in the parable, in our skit, the least likely person is showing compassion for the indifferent, is being heroic for the people that are not noticed or recognized. Just like the man that was left on the road, that person that was being bullied and ignored by the people around him, that individual that you did not expect to rescue him and help him and give him a hand did. The Good Samaritan figure is that least likely person. It's that neighbor that maybe we don't talk to regularly, those people in school or at work that we just say hello, or we just recognize their face and we give them that head nod every day when we pass by, but we never engage with them. You know, it's just something calls in their heart. God speaks to them, God works through them, and just shows them how to do good deeds and do good things for other people. You know, this parable is a story that's relatable. It's a call to action. It's actually the modern day road to Jericho. And I leave you with this question. Do we just walk by? Do we stay silent? Or do we act? Thank you.